This is To Wit, a podcast for women in tech doing life. I am Chrissy Campbell.
And I'm Melinda Smith. Hi, friends.
Hello.
We sure can't get it together, can we? We're like
Happy shortest month of the
on
year.
hiatuses.
I mean,
1 month.
it's fine. Scheduling can be hard sometimes. And
And no one has the hang-ups but me.
Well, and nobody wants to hear us be sad. Like, that's what's so interesting, actually. Like, that sounds silly, but sometimes, between the two,
You're not into it.
Between the two time zones and just life, and like both of us having a decent day at the same time, sometimes it doesn't happen. But no one wants to listen to Eeyore and Eeyore.
Yeah, or like, hey, let's talk about stuff. Because when it's forced, it would suck.
That
we don't even try.
That's funny because I was talking to a good friend of mine who I rarely get to talk to. We happen to be both driving at the same time today. So that's like when we get to talk to each other.
Ooh, that's good.
And, we had met around New Year's when I was home and trying to like purposefully talk to each other more because it's hard. And we were talking about, life's pretty good, like for both of us. And she was saying how just the phrasing was really interesting about how happiness is not meant to be your default state, but that happiness arises from happenstance, like happy things happen, but that there's a little bit of a difference in having joy like on a regular basis in your life, which I'm probably not describing very well. I don't know. It just resonated with me. Like, because I was saying, I think it's tough sometimes to know if the things that you feel are normal. Like, you don't know,
Oh, yeah.
Like even if I'm quote unquote happy and then I have a crappy day or I'm reacting differently to something that I usually react just fine to. Like, what's with me today? Like, am I depressed? Am I whatever? Like, I think it's easy to get lost in how you feel and not have a touch point as to if it's normal or not. Does that make sense?
You do make sense. And I'm curious as for the, like, it's not your natural state to be happy. I wonder what it is then.
I think the idea of
survival.
Well, no, I think she was talking about the idea of joy, like that you can be or like thankful or joyful about your life, but that not every moment has to be a specifically happy moment.
Oh God, no.
Like
it's like states that have 4 seasons. Like, I love the summer more because I have to get through some of the winter. If you were just happy all the time, you wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't have like that. Like, this feels amazing right now if you didn't have the lows.
But I think when it's
or the comparable
when you're only in
option.
your own head, like you don't have a good sense of if other people feel the same way that you do.
Oh my God, totally. I mentioned something the other day to my therapist, no surprise, seems to be my go-to phrase these days, about having like new job depression. And I was like, I'm sure that's dumb and everyone's always excited about their new jobs. And she was like, no, actually, it's fairly common. I was like, really? I just thought I was a weirdo. And I was saying how like it depends. Like, I remember when I started at Vizcarra, that's the place that got me into Salesforce. I remember being sad there. I remember eating in my car at lunch. I remember feeling down at Tellegis because, and so those are on site. Like, it's how much do I dole out of the Melinda, because it's a lot and you have to figure out your place first. And like, I want to be a contributor to the team. And then you switch it up to working remotely and you kind of feel like, shoot, I don't get to build this rapport because like it's different when you are sitting next to someone or seeing your colleagues, curse at an email when you think everyone has it under control.
Well,
so it was just nice to hear that I'm aware of it. I know it happens. I'm in the 3-month thing. And even though, I'll talk about that in a second. Like, I love everything. I really thought I was a weirdo. And she was like, no, actually, that's actually very, very common. And I was like, huh. Now I was like, so did she just call me common? She called me
I'm a special
basic?
snowflake.
Fuck
I
you.
do also feel like there's that, like, finding your place, especially when you've come from another job where you feel like you found a place, even if it was a crappy place or not the right place, right? But
Oh, well, yeah.
you were comfortable, like, just with relationships too, right? Like,
Mhm.
there's a
Oh, for
cycle
sure.
of getting back to a new normal.
Yeah, and, I it's been a lot, like, I've been a little overwhelmed, but only in the sense that not like I can't do the task, there's just a lot more. There's more clients than I've had to deal with before, so it's like, okay, how who takes precedence, who needs what? Few people have deadlines, some don't.
Mhm.
Um, but, like, I love the work. Like, I cannot remember the last time, like, I'm happy to, like, get the girl from school, do kiddo stuff, get her, fed, and then sit back down on my computer or after putting her to bed. Like, I love the work. I've gotten to do so many cool things in the last 2.5 months. Like, I've been playing with Pardot for the last week, and I was like, "Oh, this might be my new jam." Like, I was looking at Southeast Dreamin', sessions, and I was like, "I wanna do all the Pardot
Are you
sessions."
gonna
Like, this
become
I'm digging
Do you
this.
know what the part out people are called on the
The
Twitters?
Pardashians.
Heck yeah, they
It's
are.
amazing. What other I've just been doing a lot of like, I love the work. So I'm trying to figure out how to manage, 12 projects or well, not really 12, but like some projects, some service and from doing nothing but like gone are the days where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Or there's like 14 people on a project that I was like, what's happening? Who's doing
Now it's all
what?
you,
So
baby. It
all
is a
me.
really
And I
interesting
love
it's
it.
a really interesting place too because I'm really loving my work right now and for a while. And honestly, usually this is the time where I'm kind of like, eh, I could start slacking
Yeah.
off a little bit, and so it's but it's funny because it's not like I sought things out on purpose that are the things that are working for me. Like it just happens, that like the project is good, I'm able to bring value, my manager like gets me, like things that I couldn't have, sought out on purpose in a job posting. But
Yeah.
because technically, I've been an admin in some capacity for almost 10 years, right? So the companies are different, but in some ways the jobs are the same. But I don't know. I kind of found my spot for now. So,
Yeah, sure, for now, and that's kind of like what I was thinking about the other day, like, what's the next level? It was kind of yes, being happy where you are, of course, and obviously getting my feet under me where I am specifically, but, like, what's the goal? What's the next thing? Like, is it honing Pardot skills? Is the next level of, "All right, maybe in a year, I do take the time and really concentrate and learn on Apex." I mean, I can try again. I've tried a couple times. I'm not sure it's my
mhm.
bag. I don't dislike it, but it always gets to a point where I struggle to visualize or comprehend. It's almost like there are, and I mean, people that write code that listen are gonna be like, "You're a dummy," but it feels like there
No, they're
are
not.
1, step 2, step 3, and then at step 3, it could be like 3-4, 3-7, 3-9-2, and I'm like, "Wait, fucking what? Wait." And that's kind of how it feels like there's multiple ways to go about it, or it could go in different branches, and it's probably not, but my brain was like, "Ah, no, wait, I need it to be like a linear line of how you do
I feel
it."
like my one of my super faves is just going to be right up your alley with what you're talking
Oh, I
about.
like it. So
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not making any big decisions now about what, but I'm gonna figure out like, is there a product or an avenue that I want to be a little bit more of a SME on, or do I want to like in the next
me.
year? And I get call me Shmee. I'll be like a pirate. Arr, Shmee. Or learn Apex. Who knows? I don't know. I guess if I want to try and take financially to the next level.
Well, I think it's interesting how like this super fave that I'm alluding to, like it's a big secret, but it also kind of inspired my submission for certain events I want to go to. So, um, like I think you kind of like I was kind of thinking about what's my next topic I'm going to present about, but sometimes things kind of organically find you, like Pardot,
I think
maybe
I'm
for
not gonna
you.
lie, I'm probably not presenting anything for the next year.
No?
Now I'll probably do an amount of emceeing at Witness Success. Um, but yeah, I think 4 speaking sessions at Dreamforce, like, did me in for, like, a year. Like, I'm
I
good.
mean,
I'm
I
solid.
didn't present at Dreamforce, and I'm going to submit for Witness Success and uh, Texas Dreamin', I think.
Ooh.
So, and then of course I'll be at Southeast. And
Oh, you
yeah,
will? I
I
hope so.
suppose so.
I mean, you help run it, and I'm sharing a room with you.
Yes.
So,
Da, 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 da.
helpful.
Um, but yeah, it kind of, just what we talked about of your struggle is probably someone else's struggle, and kind of talking about that. That was the core of the lightning layout gumshoe session that I did for a year. Like, I made the rounds of the conferences with, because um, I was getting into lightning and having to figure it out. And so I just talked about what I knew, right? I wasn't necessarily a shmee, if you will. Um,
Arr,
Subject matter expert, by the way, in case anyone's curious about what we're just making sounds at about each
arr.
other. Um,
I'm a buyer at it.
but this is where I'm at. This is what I tried. This is what I found out. I think is also valuable. So yeah, events.
I'm excited to come to Southeast Dreaming.
Yeah. What are you excited at?
I haven't been. Well, I'm excited because the way things are structured with where I am with Arcus now, there's not this level of pressure of like, if you do this thing, come back with an ROI and blah, 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 blah. Like, I get to go just do what I want. And because I'm actually doing stuff now and building and configuring and solutioning, I actually feel like, holy shit, I have so much I could actually go and learn.
Yeah.
Before it was like, I mean, not to bag on where I was. Again, I'm not bagging on where I was. I mean, I am only
You
here because of the steps I've
But you
taken.
get into
But
habits, or you get pigeonholed in a certain kind of project, and you're kind of doing the same thing over and over, or doing the thing that's
it's
not what you want.
yeah. Or it wasn't like I don't get to do I didn't get to do a lot of creativity because it's not the way it was structured. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was handed to you just to do the work. Fine, cool. But so I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I have this whole tool belt that, like, I can actually go and learn stuff and utilize it later, not just like, meh,
Yeah,
yeah, this is
that's
cool.
cool
I
for
learned it
people who get to
once.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, right? So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do hands-on training. I'm gonna do new flow with Jen Lee. I'm gonna do all the part-out sessions. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it
There's
all.
going to be a part out hands on training. I don't know if it's posted yet, but a lot of the hands on trainings are almost full. Like, this is a legit, we're excited about it. It was kudos to Amber, Boaz, da, 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 and Rachel Rogers has been helping her out. And she put it out there. Do people want to do it? And people said yes. And she found people, and she coordinated the whole dealy bop. So this is the first year we're doing the HOTS. So
It's very
I think it'll
cool. We
be.
have a thing similar. I am no spoilers yet, but not like that, but kinda,
I'm
if that
excited
makes
for
any
the
sense.
idea of like the three kind of paths, right? That, because Witness is always such an interesting event, because it's almost like trying to find speakers for your dreaming event. Like, it's basically, because you're from Salesforce, we want to hear what you have to say, even if it's not about Salesforce. Like, I was talking to Mike Gerhold about this. Like,
Mhm.
you kind of become an authority in this group about like whatever you want to be a little bit,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
same thing. I think that's why Witness is a little different, right? It's Salesforce related people that but they're talking about potentially other things. You're not going to learn how to build a Lightning Web component, right? Or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe you are.
Wait, when Jillian, moderated the closing panel last year, she was like she said something along those lines too, like, that it's weird, like, I could go up here and, give a keynote all day long on Lightning. She's like, "But this is different. This is more like, personal growth or, um, diversity and inclusion and kind of the things that we're, trying to aim for." So, yeah, it's different, and we are opening more of a technical track. Like, yeah, let's talk about, CTA, and let's talk about, I don't know, Apex for beginners or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Um, and then we have the networking, which is not really a track, but kind of because everyone does it. Um, but yeah, it's exciting, and I'm excited about Nashville. I planned my family trip poorly, so
Yeah, I feel like
beware.
you just always have back to back things going on, girl.
I fly home from a week in Hawaii on Wednesday and then leave Thursday for
It's going to
Nashville.
be great.
So it's going to be awesome. I'm just going to
You're going to be
be
so chill.
screwy on the time. We all agree on the time change though.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't need sleep. Sleep
Yeah,
sleep.
you're a rock star. You don't even need.
I can make it happen.
Yeah.
But we've had some really great events. We get to be at each other's events. It's so exciting. What other? Well, okay, I don't want to go down the events and then our cruise rabbit hole. It's like our it's all we talk about. All right. Um, so the other thing for our listeners is yes, we still don't have something for the X spot. Like in the beginning, we were doing what we learned, or last year we were doing what we learned. And we really wanted to do some kind of step-by-step build out for an app or a community or whatnot for our cruise. Just FYI, if anyone's keeping score, we haven't come up with it yet. So there you have it. We'll figure it out.
How's that cruise looking, Melinda? Do we have
I
some
haven't
people
gotten a
that are
check-in from
coming?
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we got a lot of interest at the beginning, kind of lost a little steam. I think that it will, I don't know, like pop back in
Okay.
maybe a handful of months before people will be like, oh, okay, it's close. Can I afford it? I think it's been a little bit far out. There's like planners that are like, yep, I'm
Yep.
down. And
X
other people
dollars
are
a
like,
month.
I can think about Yeah, I was like, I can't think about that right now.
That's so later this year. I haven't been to an event in a while, so I'm actually, well, I shouldn't say I'm actually
Dude,
excited for Southeast Dreamin'.
me either.
I feel like there's this
I
dearth
had this
in the
conversation
after
the
the
other day that like,
holidays and ramping back
yeah,
up.
and don't you feel like, and maybe this is in like the new job depression again, not in the sense that like it's just
You made the
I'm
disclaimer.
struggling
I
and
know it's
trying to
fine.
figure
Your
out,
boss is listening. It's fine.
you know what I mean, and I'm not. He might be. He does. Hi, Jason. Um, I was talking the other day about like I feel like sometimes if you get too much time between you and an event or you and seeing the community, you can almost get I don't placid about it or like,
You forget.
well, or yeah, like your cup hasn't been filled, your soul hasn't been hugged by the community. So for me, yes, I can recognize it in the beginning, but if enough time goes by, then I'm like, oh, I'm going to focus on making money. Like I don't really need to do the community thing. Blah, blah, blah. Not like I don't like it, but it's almost like I forget how important it is to make that
Yeah.
time, especially when you work from home. So I was like, "Meh, I'm just gonna make some money. I'm just gonna put some dough away or some bullshit." And then I was like, "Oh my god, I have an event coming up. I'm
Well,
so
I also feel like
excited."
there is a lot of it that is networking and softer relationship, like you say, like not a hard ROI. So sometimes it's easier to talk yourself into staying to do a project.
Yeah, or like, how am I gonna go? How am I gonna manage that? I've got
Is it
so
worth
many
it for me
things
to
to do. I
go?
don't I don't have the time between finding childcare for the kiddo if Josh is flying and budgeting it into what I have allotted for travel. Like this year, I'm like, oh, maybe not. But I mean, the dream in events, the community events are just so good for the quality time.
Well, and I think
We all
that's,
know it's hard to spend quality time at the big
I mean, I think
events.
that translates to other industries too, I would hope, right? I think anybody who does a thing, I think it's important to find other people that do your thing that help you,
Hmm.
get fresh ideas and reconsider how you tried something or just overhear a phrase about a thing you could maybe try. Like I think it's important regardless of whether you're, probably listening because you're a Salesforce friend, but in other things as well.
I'm excited. It's been a while since I've been to an event where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have so much I could do. I want to be in every spot. Like I think that was my first Midwest Dreamin' and my gosh, what was the other one that I was like, how do I be in all of them or
Tahoe.
something, Yeah, Tahoe. It was like I just need to be in all of the rooms
Hmm.
because I can use it. And that was when I was an admin. So it's good to be back in that space where I'm like, I just want to consume all the knowledge possible.
Well, and if anything, I feel like besides the therapist, that's a good place that you can talk to other people who maybe just started jobs and see where they're at. Like it doesn't even have to be about, like we say, like how to build a flow, right? That it's things, that just help normalize your Salesforce life.
I guess I just assume that when you get and everyone gets a new job, they're so happy and grateful and elated. And I was the weirdo for feeling like down and trying to
I
figure out my
mean,
place. And
y-
she was like, no.
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like when you start, you're all like, I can fix everything you're saying. I'm the best, and everyone else who's been here ever has been stupid, right? And you have all this time because you don't have fucking meetings, and so you think you're going to change the world, and then about 3 months in, you get bogged down in the same stuff, and then you realize that that's why no one changes the world every day at work, because there's no time for that. So it's like
One
reality
of my
time.
It is. And one of my favorite moments, and God, I would try to relate this to somebody. I'm not going to get it right. Ah, someone was talking to me and I told them the story and they're like, oh my God, that's for him. All right, doesn't matter. So when I was working for Maui Wowie, a big, at the time was a really big franchise system. And I'm brand new. I would say in my first 6 months. And I'm sitting at my computer and Erin, who's, I think I've talked about her. She's, the one that's my mentor,
Mm-hmm.
even though she doesn't know it. Maybe I've told her. But I mean, she still continues to be a friend. I'm at my computer and I was like, she said something. I think she was standing behind me. I was sitting. She's like, how are you? And I was like, nobody's happy. I can't make any of these franchise happy. Everyone has a problem. I don't understand how to help them make money at their business. And she just smiled and kind of laughed, rubbed my shoulder. She goes, oh, you're there. Yeah, we've all been there, honey. It'll be okay. And you'll find your way through it. And I was like, what? She's like, we've all been here. We think that we're going to make them all happy and we can give every piece of our soul to figure out how they could all make money. She's like, it doesn't work like that. She's like, but you go ahead and work through it. When you're done, I'm here. I'll buy you a beer. I was like, okay, I guess. But I think about that often when you get to a place where you're like, what is going on? And if you think and allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to reach out to a colleague and say, hey, I'm feeling this way. I would say, 9 times out of 10, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I've been there. Or totally get it. I felt something similar. And, I've been really, I feel like, authentic with, reaching out to Sam and reaching out to other colleagues and like, hey, I'm feeling like this and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yep, totally makes sense. And this is how I did it, or this is how it helped me. And I was like, oh, sweet. I love this. Resources.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be an island.
What?
I mean, I know better, but you forget.
You do. I Speaking, this is like such a good segue that we're just gonna start talking about my super fave, or it's just gonna become a topic. It's fine. So, so
Go
kind of
on,
what you're talking
tell
about
me.
with not being an island, right? So I needed something for work, and they were like, "Can it look like this?" And I'm like, "I bet I can do that." And this is a great example to me of how it takes a village, right? I know enough development to be dangerous, right? And I've learned about base components with Aura. And so
Beast.
I go search the lightning component library and I start finding things that look like what I want. And I made a lightning component myself.
Woo! A
And
lightning web component?
no, an Aura
Just a lightning
component.
component. Ooh.
So old school ish, the not the newest school. Um, but what was really great about it is, sometimes you get 9/10 of the way there, and then there's just something that isn't working. And I'm so thankful that I had the Good Day Sir Slack channel. And so there were some specific people. So Daniel Barclay and Kevin Vizcarra and Chris Eager and Stephen Noe were so supportive of like, okay, so I did this, but I kind of want it to look like this. Like, what do I do? And they
Yeah.
helped me through it.
How do I get it
And
further?
then it was like, okay, so I did it, but now I can't put an ampersand in the text because it thinks it's code. So what do I do? And I tried to Google and I didn't, and I would like show my work, and they would say, try this, and then I would be like, yes, I did it. And Jody Miners made a
Your work.
comment, right? Of like, it's great to see you going through this process. And I also have
Nice.
Phillip Southern, who I called after the user group meeting. I'm like, okay, so I have this thing, and I just learned it needs to be conditional based on the country. So I only want to show certain parts of it for Canada versus the US. And I'm like, just tell me the things to Google. Like what would I do? And he's like, well, Aura should have an if. And I'm like, okay, I found that article, and then he's like, and then like, it's the locale. You need the user locale. So I'm like, okay, thanks, bye. And I like, um, did the I
It got
did the
by.
things, and I was so close, and I couldn't get it to work. And I think it was Daniel, like, again, back to the Good Day Sir Slack, and I was like, okay, guys, now we're here. Like, how do I get here? And it was something where like it was an equals equals instead of an equals, right? So this is what I was thinking about earlier when you're saying it was step 3.725, right? That it was
Mhm.
so close. And but then it's just such a great feeling of like, yeah, mofo, I made this thing. And
Mhm.
and then I was able to build it in, and then I learned something else. And so then there was this other requirement, and I'm like, I think I can make a component that does that. Right. And it doesn't have to, like, it was a great reminder too that it doesn't have to be the sexiest thing on the whole planet, because we have the Lightning design system. So it's going to
Yeah.
look consistent. And I had fun picking, just like picking icons for an object. You can pick your
Ooh,
icons from the
yes.
utility icon set with a Lightning design system. So
Ooh,
I was able to make
fancy.
these components that met my business need, look good, and I'm, a copy and paste developer. So um, I just have been really excited about it. And so I want to do a presentation about it, right? Of like,
Is it live?
or not that it's under authentication, so it's part of a community, but you can't see it. I mean, you could, like, I'll show it to you, but the internet can't
Oh,
see it.
really?
Yeah, you're special, so I'll show you.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's just really gratifying. So talking about it, right, of like, let's be basic and use base components, right? I'm trying to think of a catchy title, but um there's certain things you can do, being, and it's not for day one, right? There's a bit of um understanding the parameters and attributes and like kind of the different things it's trying to do. So if it doesn't work, you can kind of figure out why. But
Mhm.
again, I think having these kind of resources has been really helpful, like with the Ask Force and
The
with
humans?
however,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever your channel happens to be. Ooh, that might be a segue to my witness success session I might submit.
Go
What's the
on.
channel of how you want to contribute? Like, not everyone's the same. So when people
Oh,
ask
fuck yeah,
you,
you should totally contribute that.
yeah, when people ask you, like, how do you
Submit.
give back, right? Like, everyone's got a different path, and kind of talking about finding your giving authentically.
Yes, and not being discouraged because there's 17 podcasts or 47 blogs. That doesn't mean you don't have something to contribute. I read 2 blogs for a reason,
Ooh, what are they?
because there's Sam's blog.
Yeah,
I almost said polyamorous. That's not it. It's polymath.
you're great. I mean, that's Sam's other blog. The
I'm dying right
Oh my
now.
god, your face is so red. You're so embarrassed.
My God. Well, you know. So yeah, I'll have to tell her tomorrow. Because it's concise and that's how I like to read.
Okay.
I mean, if ever I could have the entire world in a bullet form. I mean, when I see long emails, I'm just like, I can't. And I come back and I was like, okay, I'll read half and then I'll come back. I just can't. I don't like it. I can't.
I
This all
write
fits.
long
It all
emails
fills into the vein.
because I'm
I
trying to
can't.
explain and answer all your possible questions.
I just, but I take brevity to like the farthest extreme too. Like it's too
Okay,
much.
what's your other one?
Um, oh God, now I can't remember it. I mean, I read Jen's blog, of course, because she gives me the highlights of the releases,
Mhm.
and I don't have to try and dig and figure out someone else's. There's a couple other I can't think of right now, but I mean, I struggle to read just in general. I
I
just
can't
do.
read.
It's so much. I got out another book. I finally finished. It took me like a year. Okay, I'm exaggerating. And I was like, I want to pull out another story. I also have other like self improvement, we'll call it books. And I pulled out this one and I was like, okay, cool. Look, I finished a novel. I'm going to read another novel. I clipped my little reading light on
Yeah,
it
you
and
did.
put it on my nightstand a month ago. I have not cracked that binding
Have
yet.
you improved
I was like,
yourself in other ways?
I mean, I still get up and work out every morning. That's my
Yeah,
bag. You
you
know it.
do. You look
Like,
great.
that's important to me. Hey, thanks. I'm like, finish out my workout program this week. So I was going to say earlier when you were talking about your aura component, there's been a lot of time on this podcast that we get to chatting and you'll talk about like a technical thing. And I will preface what I'm about to say that I love talking about the real shit. Like, let's dig into our souls. But there's been moments where I'm like, I just don't have anything to contribute when it comes to that because I don't feel like I had, I don't know, something I learned or something technical or whatever. But like, I'm so grateful now because I'm like, oh my God, I have so much stuff. I spent hours yesterday building an engagement program and and building and copying and pasting HTML email templates 20. Let me tell you, my SOW said 2. And I was like, I was going to do all 20. I was like, oh man. But like, I feel now I'm like, I get to be part of the conversation about other stuffs. So
And
I'm
like
like,
the
I don't
little
know. I'm very grateful
eccentricities of
about it.
things that you only know if you've done it, not from like the marketing. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, except you can't use HTML with blah 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 engagement studios. So mic drop.
Boom. And yeah, it's I'm just very grateful in the like space where you're like, I am really overwhelmed, but really happy at the same time, if that makes any sense.
I'm really intrigued by what is a cork and go.
Oh, so it depends on the state. So if you go to a restaurant or whatever and you buy a bottle of wine, you don't finish it, they'll cork it and you can take it.
Oh, you talked about this
So
earlier.
I went to work at I mean, I could tell y'all I went to work at a cafe, but let's get real. I went to my favorite bar because they're awesome. They give me free Wi-Fi and they're chill. And there's like 4 other people at the bar with their laptops. Like cafes aren't always my jam, but bars are. So I went there and I hung out and got some work done. And I knew we were recording tonight. And I was like, can I cork and go? And he was like, well, sure. So I got the wine and he like put it in nice, like it's a white. So we put it in like a nice little cooler. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to take it. And he's like, what? I kind of need to open it. I was like, that's fine. I was like, you can pour me a little half a glass of wine, but I'm going to leave. And I met this real estate agent, Alex, next to me, who knew everyone at the bar as well. And she was like, that is smart. And I said, well, I am efficient. I
Mm.
know that I have to drink later, have to, want to, whatever. And I don't want to make another stop. I'm working. I got shit to do. I don't want to go over to the liquor store. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already here. So, I mean, did I pay probably $5, $8, $10 more? Probably. But I pay for convenience all the time. Like, why freaking stop now? I have DoorDash bring me McDonald's for my kid at times. So, like,
I love it.
it's fine. Yeah, so it's I feel like it hasn't been an always feature in Colorado or Denver at least.
Mm.
Um, but it's nice. So if you're out and having wine or hanging out and you're not doing that, like, oh crap, I got to finish this, or I'm done, or you have a glass and you're like, I have to drive. Shoot, we got a bottle, nobody else is finishing it, so you can just cork and go.
I like it.
In California, there's places where you can BYOB, which is even more weird.
Yes. In Texas,
I mean, like full on restaurants, you could just bring your bottle of wine in. It's super freaking
you
weird.
can do that in certain places in Texas. I also feel like there's certain strip clubs where they don't serve alcohol, so they can go full nude,
Yep.
but you
Washington State.
can bring them. Thank you for knowing
I don't
that.
actually know if that's still the world. Well, I worked at one back in the day. I was a cocktail waitress. Um, God, I was probably 20. So why I don't know if it's still anymore, but Washington State's like that. Like
Interesting.
you can't be within so many feet,
Mm-hmm.
no alcohol, but you can be full nude. So being a, I didn't know. I was 20. I was stupid. Or maybe even 19. So being a cocktail waitress for Coca-Cola wasn't very lucrative. I'm gonna tell you right now. The job
Interesting.
did not last very long. I was like, what's happening
Makes
here?
sense.
Nobody wants to tip me extra for their Diet Coke.
Yeah, that
No is
percentage
the
doesn't really
answer.
go very far on $3.
You're right. I'm like, hey, buddy, so 20? No, nobody cares.
No. I also had a great time at the nonprofit user group, and it's funny because we've
Ooh, do
we've
tell.
talked about how just talk about things that you know that you think everyone knows, but not everyone knows, right? And
Yeah.
I talked about SABWA, so Salesforce admin by walking around. We were
Yes.
actually it was Sherry brought a great topic of how to bridge the gap between people who say they want to help and volunteer, or students who want to learn, but then how do you bridge the gap with nonprofits and what they actually need, and how people can help them without it being weird or too much or too little, or and so we were talking about how kind of those things you don't get a chance to do, right? Where sometimes you might feel frustrated that you built a thing and no one uses it, right? They're still using their old stupid process, and you don't have
Yeah.
maybe the resources to make it 100%, but you made it 80% and they still don't use it, you know? And so I mentioned SABWA, and I'm so excited because one of the attendees, Jennifer Lang from the Crisis Assistance Ministry, which is a great organization that I supported before I even knew her. Knew they use Salesforce, but they have like a low cost shop to help people get clothes, get jobs, and they also help with paying bills that you're not able to pay, right? And certain just like helping people get on their feet or stay on their feet, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she tweeted today that she's like, I did a little SABWA and I was able to solve
Ah,
a problem for someone right on the fly. And, sometimes it's easy to forget
that's so
the people
cool.
who are using the thing you built, right? And so really
Yeah.
just literally just watching and being like, let me see what you do. Like, why do you click 15 times to get there? Oh, because you don't
Yeah.
know that I built you a quick action and it's right here, that kind of stuff that I think is, again, one of those things that's easy to not do when you're quote unquote so busy. But
It's easy to stick to your click path.
mhm.
Like, I do it all the time.
And you
It's a
get in the
hard
weeds
habit to break.
and
Well, you do the thing. This is the click path. You click setup. You click. You know what I mean? Like, there is a path, and then someone else will say, "Hey, why don't you just do blah blah blah?" And you're like, no good reason, because that's just not my click path."
well,
So, being able to, with the SABWA, being able to walk around and say, "Hey, did you know this quick action is here?" "Oh yeah, but I thought X, Y, and Z." No, like, this takes 4 clicks out.
right.
What? Yeah, that's
Or they
amazing.
learned it from some other person who didn't know, right? Or even I had a great, like, I, on my project, again, got kind of in the weeds and was convinced this is the way it needed to be. And it was getting hard with development. And my CTO was like, why? He's like, what do you really need to do? And it's like, well, I just need to get him back to the previous page, kind of, and he's like, well, just put a button there, and it was like, oh, you're right, but I was so
Good
convinced it
call.
needed to work the way I wanted it to work. And it's like, no, there's
Yeah.
other colors of the rainbow, girl, so yeah, sometimes it just takes a little walking around, talking to people about it, and can kind of unlock some things you might not have known to look for that aren't,
And
those.
though I love that,
You have no one to walk around
I
to.
do love being able to say, "Here's your shit, bye."
Yes, there is some of that for sure. But um yeah, I don't, it's funny because I feel like there's so many things like that that we just deal with that are like, just weird. Like you setting filters in your email, right? Or things that like aren't that hard, but they feel hard. But then when you do them, they
Yeah,
feel better, that kind of stuff.
yeah. We were working on something the other day, and I was bitching about when I was creating new fields, save and new went blank, and
Mm,
I had to hit fields again in order to
hit
get
no.
it to come back. So I was complaining to, I think, Jason, and he was like, "What? You're like the biggest lightning advocate." And I was like, "I know." I said, "But now I'm doing the work and this shit's pissing me off right now." Like, the fact that when I go to the setup menu and I have to click in the search twice because it disappears my cursor irritates me. And the
Mm,
save and new for a field, and it's gone. Like, the screen, not the whole screen, but like
that
the
section.
little box inside, yeah, is blank. So I have to hit fields, and it's aggravating. And I was like, "Oh my God." It's easy to be an advocate when you're just like, "I just do page layouts and they're amazing."
Well, submit some feedback, girl. Get it fixed.
Oh yeah. I was like, "Stop it." Speaking of annoying, Twitter, let me just tell you right now, the new UI, I'm the worst at just clicking. And it was like, "Do you want to try this?" I was like, "Sure." So the new UI is anywhere from 4 to 6, depending on if you're starting net new or responding to a tweet, for to add a GIF
4 to 6
or
what?
GIF for whoever is asking. Oh, did I not say that? Clicks.
Mm.
So it is stupid and annoying. So I tweeted them today. I was like, this new UI is dumb, and it takes me 6 clicks to add a GIF. And then I had a typo in it. And I was like,
You
oh.
can't, and I can't edit this tweet to fix my
It's like,
typo.
I was like, I would try to say too many in the new UI, and it was like too man in the new UI. And I was like, no one's gonna listen to me now.
This is funny because I forget to update any of my apps, so I haven't tried that yet. And then I have like
No, it's the
100.
desktop version.
Oh,
No, it matches the actual app on your phone, which no. On the phone, it's easier, but it was, just on my laptop. And I was like, yeah, I'll try the new UI. And I hate everything about it. It's stupid. I don't like it.
I haven't been offered it. So apparently you're such a better tweeter than me that you get special news stuff.
Ugh. I get special extra clicks. Lord
You're
knows I
so
need it.
special.
Sounds special. It's because I work a lot more now. So speaking of that voice, so we had some friends over, and I was making a joke, and every time I made a joke about myself, and I was like, she's like, look, I love you, but I have never once heard you actually use that voice. So when you poke fun at yourself for using that voice, I don't know when that person actually happens. Because I was telling, I have bruises all up and down my forearms. Like, you would think that like I was manhandled, because last Friday night I went to like a Galentine's thing,
Yeah.
my girlfriend's house. She decorated and had gifts. It was so much fun. So after a few glasses of wine, they're big weed smokers, and I was like, no, I'm good. But she had this little vape pen. I was like, oh,
Oh,
maybe
that
I'll try
doesn't
it now.
count.
Okay. And then she has a 1.5-year-old chocolate lab. And I was like, so I'm telling my girlfriend, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to play with the puppy. And we played, and she was like, first of all, you never use that voice. I don't know why you're making fun of yourself in that voice. But I played with him, and I am bruised because, they like to bite, kind of not like bite hard, but play. So I played with him, and I like, seriously, I truly, like, it is enough on my arms for someone to raise an eyebrow.
Oh.
Like, oh goodness, are you okay?
He's getting feisty, huh?
Do I need to call someone? Well, I mean, I was playing with them, and he was like, I was like, let's do this. Because I, of course, want a dog. We're going to get one this summer, but oh yeah. So yeah, that whole voice, my girlfriend Kara was like, just, you don't do that. I don't understand
Stop
what
making
it
fun
is you're
of
making
yourself.
fun of. Like, you don't ever make that
That's
voice. I was
hilarious.
like, it's me making fun of me. All
Way to
right.
call yourself out.
Yeah. So my other SuperFave is one of the food deliveries. We got a gift card from my sister-in-law. So Prefare is a Denver or Colorado, whatever, local.
Okay.
And I've done Hungry Root, and I've done some others. So, I'll get a couple meals, something meat-based for Josh and something vegetarian or vegan-based for me. And it's amazing, and it's so simple, like way more simple, like a thing to do. And it is delightful to do one simple task and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a ton, and the fact that we have to order 2 different meals is kind of annoying, so I'm not sure I'll keep it for past like the gift card, but it's been nice. Like the other night he came home after flying all day, and I was like not in the mood to, I don't know, chop everything for salad. So he did like the 4 tasks to make his chicken crusted something or other. And I had some kind of like slaw taco, no, like a fish taco thing, because I'm eating fish again. And it was so easy peasy. I was like, this is amazing.
Now you've graduated. This is adulting.
It's really nice. Between Prefare and Mary Maids and Drizzly.
What's a drizzly?
It's the alcohol delivery. Well, at least in this area.
Obviously. No, I don't have that. I'm
Her
not jealous.
name is Joan.
I'm not jealous at all. Don't you worry.
You do, I promise. You have something. Because Amy just got something delivered in her area, and we have Drizzly, and Drizzly's the same in Arizona. So
I'm pretty sure Charlotte.
Uptight.
I'm pretty sure North Carolina, is kind of uptight. But I know
Yeah, you guys might
I
be
know
right.
that wine delivery, beer and wine is a thing,
I mean,
but you're talking liquor.
that's I only have wine delivered because
Oh, I could get wine
I'm
delivered, but from
I'm
like the grocery store delivery. Oh my God, I have Drizzly.
see. So I pick a store, like there's a particular liquor store I like here. So they're nice, they're kind. I set the store. So inevitably it's always the same person. Her name is Joan. So we forged a friendship. So Joan and I are pals now.
Stop it. Oh, no, shipping service only at my house. 2 to 3 business days. I love that you're giving me a face. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
No, I'm doing this because I got Botox this week for the first time.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah. So apparently it takes 2 weeks to kick in. I was like, oh, who knew botulism took so long? But yeah, so I keep testing out the forehead.
Why
So that's why I make that face at you.
did you just get Botox in your face?
Because the lines in my forehead make me feel older than I feel inside. And the deep, I don't think that's right face um, in the middle of my eyeballs looks like a deep Mercedes symbol. So
Interesting.
yeah, we'll see. I tried it. And here's why. And here's why. So my little girl's gymnastics class is in a building that has this medical spa. And I popped in and she gave me some great samples. So I found this really great night cream that has retinol in it. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that's like, this is amazing, but I tried it
Mm-hmm.
like 2 samples 2 nights in a row. And I was like, holy crap, my skin looks amazing. So I bought it and she is, I think from the Ukraine, this beautiful woman with this lovely accent. And I was like, yes, whatever you say. So I told her I'd been considering it, but my sister-in-law had said that, it's like 350 or plus. And I was like, I just can't. Like that's not what I want to do. And I told her I was looking at it. She's like, no, we can do that for like, 152. And I was like, okay, then I will try that
Mm.
in this whole area. So yeah, in that same wine party I was telling you, I told the girls last week and they're like, oh my God, why? And I was like, stop. Thank you. That's flattering, but I'm gonna, because I wanna. So I keep making this face because it takes 2 weeks to kick in, but I've started to feel it a little this week. Like I raised my eyebrows and I was like, I don't think my forehead's moving. It's amazing. I'm going to look so young and fresh at your event.
This is perfect. You'll just
Mhm.
be sort of stunned the whole time.
I will just look smooth.
I mean, you are going to look great. It's going to be a great time.
It's amazing. Everything's amazing. I'm so excited to learn stuff like on the reels. Like I'm not being flippant. I'm really excited.
That's what she said. That's what I'm going to leave you with, Melinda. Stay witty.